I am the nonsense man.
In the middle of the woods.
I am a nonsense man, living in the kitchen with the pots and pans. We are the nonsense men, swimming in the desert with the scorpions. I am a nonsense man, I live in the garbage with the trash and cans. We are the nonsense men, skipping through the forest with a Swede named Sven. I am a nonsense man, I owe the government about 1,000 grand. Living in a mitten where the shit doth slam into the goddamn ceiling fan. And I have a wristwatch cam. Tell me what this is and can it stitch my pants? Ripping little children from their grandma's hands and jigging with the kitten in a grip walk jam. Yo, I know a kid named Stan who sits with the women in a switch lock stance, sifting through the linens when I dick box cats.
This shit isn't making any sense.
Well, that's because I have a fucked up brain, playing skittle cricket with a Brit named Shane. Ain't no rhyme or reason for the pricks I've slain, so get up on the motherfucking nonsense train, yo. I am a nonsense man, living in the kitchen with the pots and pans. We are the nonsense men, swimming in the desert with the scorpions. I am a nonsense man, I live in the garbage with the trash and cans. We are the nonsense men, skipping through the forest with a Swede named Sven. You were born on a big blue sphere, with the men and the mice and bears. You began to behave like Norm, and you sat in the asshole chair. But the truth would resound in time, that the bears were not on our side. So I went on a nonsense quest that began on the night I declared in jest that I am a nonsense man. I don't want to listen to the white man Sam. I don't even like it when our kite paths jam. I just want to save the world with hopscotch paths and pots and clay. Is that so strange? Am I the only person in the world that's sane? Can't you see they want you to be numb and tame? I'm just saying, you should loosen up, okay? I am a nonsense man, living in the kitchen with the pots and pans. We are the nonsense men, swimming in the desert with the scorpions. I am a nonsense man, I live in the garbage with the trash and cans. We are the nonsense men, skipping through the forest with a Swede named Sven. I am a nonsense man, tripping in the ocean with the sharks and clams, never really giving any shits or dams. If you have a problem with the goddamn fact that this is a nonsense world, and everybody in it is a man, boy, girl, if you take it serious, then you're messed up. So grow a sense of humor, or you will get fucked. In the middle of the woods,
Your kids are crazy.
of the woods, in the middle of the woods,
I can't swim. In the middle of the woods. I can't swim. Your kids are crazy. Get the fuck out of here.
I am
In the middle of the woods. I can't swim.
Hello, magical turtles. Have we begun?
The election. That's
Has it
something I'm
started?
talk about. Right.
Yes.
Move on to things that people
It has.
talk about. Does anybody really?
Well,
is
in
there-
that
is
case,
there an option
welcome to
this
what
year?
has been
Can
dubbed
somebody
summoning the
explain me
nonsense.
the difference
You say it,
between
Busto.
the
You
two?
say it so much.
Something
Something
is happening. About Obama, he's
Something
got the
is
skin rash and the gas price.
You're frightening
Okay.
me, man.
Okay, now it's good. Now it is good. Welcome to Summoning the Nonsense with Zachary Winchester and Foster the Count. Hello.
Hello there. Well, I feel like we should get right into the topic, which is the title of the show, Summoning the Nonsense. I feel like that's all I have done my 24 years on this spherical dot in the plenum of spherical dots in outer, inner, and extra galacticer space. I'm getting told about things. I'm getting asked questions. Oh, that's wonderful. It's already beginning. It's begunning. Nonsense. You mentioned earlier on the other show, you had like a theme, a moral for the Nonsense Man song, and you know what? I highly agree with that. That was. Can you say that again?
It's very complicated to remember things which I have said in the past, but the moral of the Nonsense song, all right? Of the Nonsense Man song.
Yeah, the tune that was just playing.
Yes, the moral of that song is to stop being so serious. You know, this world is filled with problems, and there are currently no solutions, no great solutions to fix the problems of the world. So what you can do is to participate in the nonsense, doing a lot of things which can create laughter. So basically, you have to go past your normal way of being and transcend into the I don't know, into the nonsenseness which Zachary here is a master. He's the master of the nonsense.
I did not make up the concept of nonsense, nor did I actually, really create anything that I have created. But I've been told by, the nonsense stipulations that I have to credit some things to my quotation mark self. But these things, the things that happen, I'm sure you experienced this yourself, Vosto, that, the best creativity happens completely involuntarily and on impulse. And when you sit down and actually try and do a thing where, it could be accredited to oneself, it's that's when it sucks.
Well, myself, when I try to create things, I actually go into another state of being. I'm not the same man. I'm actually connecting. I'm connecting with some other power which I cannot explain, and then I try to perpetuate those vibrations which I feel through the art that I'm currently doing, being that drawing or music, or in your case, a lot of other things.
And tusks come out of your jowls. You grow tusks during that period of time.
Yes.
And if someone were to interrupt you while you were making your sorcery, and they were to turn, because you're in a spinning chair when you do that, right?
Yes,
if they were to spin it around, they would see you have tusks, and you would make some strange guttural, and then they would run and never look back.
Yes. Exactly. Or hit, or accidentally bite them for a moment there before they leave.
I'm smoking a unit of drugs that I found in my car under on the passenger seat down where people's feet go, and it was a half a joint, and I just couldn't even though there's a surplus of such materials here, I can't throw away. I thought it was viable drugs, but it definitely got some kind of coffee spilt on it or something. I'm a gross person for doing this. This is some first world poverty here.
Yes, that is what poor people in my country like to do. They go outside and search for, I don't know,
other people's
cigarettes.
roaches that are stained in coffee.
They search for cigarettes that have not been finished and just thrown on the street. Yes.
And coffee-soaked joints. Coffee-soaked doobies.
Yes, I wonder for how long your concoction was sitting there.
It's gross. No, I know it hasn't been too long. Funny story though about illegal drugs being found in my car. Me and my friend the other day on the way to East Lansing, which is completely irrelevant to anybody who's not from Michigan, but on the way to a place that is about an hour and a half drive from my house, we decided to pull a switcheroo on the freeway. And I was driving, and I was going to, jump into the back, and then he was going to assume the driver's side. We filmed it actually, and we executed it perfectly. But so we did that and a bunch of other stupid shit while driving that day, and I didn't realize until on the way back from that excursion, I had really illegal. I had two tabs of Molly pills in my car that were there from the summer that I had forgotten about because I thought they were fake, and I think they may still be. And you know what? Why we have this conversation right now? There's these beautiful people that they go to festivals, and they're called the bunk police, and they pass out drug testing kits for all the magical turtles to be able to see if their illicit materials are in fact illicit.
Oh, shit, yes.
Because people are selling fake drugs to the turtles, and as bad and immoral.
Especially LSD's faked a lot these days.
Almost. I feel like almost all the time, unless you buy it from a bearded hippie with a crawfish crawling out of his beard, and the crawfish also has dreadlock and a beard. There's a crawfish crawling out of that, and it's an endless fractal of crawfish beards. It's not real LSD unless it's that guy that sells it to you
because he has the fractal inside him manifesting into the three-dimensional realm already.
He has crustaceans inside of his beard. But I found it a terribly illegal substance. And it's funny because had I been pulled over, they would have found these drugs, and I would have been like, "Oh, officer, that was left in my car," and I would have been telling the truth, like that was left in my car. Or like I don't want that. You can just throw that away. But isn't that funny that that's how like possession laws work? Like you had it on you, now you're in trouble. But it's like I didn't even fucking want that on me. If had it been drugs that I had planned on consuming or selling that night, I'd be like, okay, fucking, take me to goddamn jail. But in that, I would have been like, no, this isn't right. This isn't all drug laws aren't right. But anyway, yeah, LSD is always fake. And I have a drug testing kit, and we're going to do that right about now. I think I'm being asked questions. Let's answer a question.
Let's see.
Lindsay, who I met at Burning Man, which is this lovely little desert festival in America. Actually, you guys, Burning Man, not that cool. It's kind of just like 12 dudes with wooden soup spoons, and they're banging on porcelain china, and then maybe some of the pottery will break. And then they start shouting at each other, and then somebody cries. That's pretty much Burning Man. But anyway, I met her at this festival, and she asks, how do you feel your message to the world is affecting the collective consciousness? Wow.
Whoa.
It would be so hubristic of me to... my message. I have a message. And that is that when one delivers a message, one should do it through the medium of massage, and only that. So I don't really believe in speaking. I think that if you see a person, you have something to say to them, you can come up and write it into their back with your fingertips like kids used to do in elementary school. And that's the only form of communication that I endorse.
Yeah, and Lindsay's right now, she's like, oh, that's so cute. What he said right there.
That's so deep. Because nonverbal communication.
We should get her in the call. Ask her if she wants to get in the show.
She is at work right now, where she actually is a masseuse.
Nice.
I believe. I think she rubs the turtle shells, but I know she does back things with people's backs. Let's move on to Mr. Jeff Horst, who is a comedian who comes to my open mic, a fantastic comedian of Detroit, of the Motown Laugh Kings, who asks, do you think that children who grow up eating gummy worms instead of gummy bears are more likely to grow up homosexual? Well, let's look at the empirical data, okay? I consumed gummy bears and gummy worms as a child, and I fuck everything. So
yes, everything that moves.
No, not even just everything that moves. Some things I have to make them move.
Also static things also.
Yeah, sometimes I'll slam my laptop down on. I have a MacBook, and I didn't mean to advertise, but this isn't a very good advertisement because I feel like this is actually its best use. It slams down. It's a trapper keeper. I'd slam it on my dick like a door, but I don't do that with doors. Because doors are heavier and have more pressure. Okay, but really though, do you think gummy worms instead of gummy bears? Like, do I? I guess the question is,
they can influence the psychological field of someone. Yes,
they're phallic. But the thing about gummy worms is that is like, you don't want a dick that is that consistency. An old, useless, difficult to chew gummy worm that's like the ideal. I mean, I'm not a person who goes out looking for dicks usually, but for those who do, I feel like they want one that it has a lot less give than a gummy worm. I jerked off earlier today, and I felt. You ever like feel presentable? Like you'll jerk off, and just like from it, I felt like I was having such a great dick day, and it was just such a shame that I was alone.
Yes, usually masturbation reminds you of how shitty your life actually is.
Not always, man. I feel like fuckery begets.
But sometimes, like pornographic material is better than real life stuff.
That's the corner that I find myself in. Is that let's get right into it, because this is what I want this show to be: is terribly awful, embarrassing, just admissions of truth. About our interpersonal lives. I had a thing happen throughout my post-pubescent existence where I was born into the internet realm. I was born into a world where it wasn't that many years before like live streaming free porn was available. Like now it's just, I have the world of the greatest pornography at my fingertips now.
I remember when I used to sit 20 minutes for a 3-minute video to load. Yes, it was so.
It was, or a picture. I used to jerk off to still pictures, Vasto. Oh my God, that's so primitive. I would put my javelin down and I would remove my cowskin fucking overalls, you know, the Tarzan thing, but but overalls, because I would never do that gay shit where there's, you know, just one strap. That's retarded. But
yes,
and I would jerk off to a photograph.
Yes,
a
me too.
thing that doesn't even move.
When I was young, there was newspapers with naked women with hairy, very hairy vaginas, and it was really good for me.
Did you say hairy vaginas?
Yes. When I was young, I really liked hairy vaginas.
That is fucked, man. That was beat into my brain as the wrong way to do it real early. Even before I really even like appreciated vaginas, like aesthetically, I always preferred the ones that were, because it's man, it's weird, and it is a strange thing. It's just like
travel through the jungles, my friend.
How is that alluring at all? How is that? That doesn't entice me at all. Because I'm a big like cunnilingus enthusiast. And you know, a thread from the other night we found. Yeah, let's sidetrack hardcore. Let's go right into cunnilingus. The conversation of scarfing vag. Some call it eating pussy, but you know, who bites off chunks?
That would be difficult with the jungle to do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The first time I ever attempted to scarf a vag, I went down and she was a blonde person, and there was not even necessarily outrageous, but there was hair, and I stopped really soon, and I don't know if I verbalized it that I don't want to do it. No, I think I was fucking just shocked with fear at that moment. That was like only the 12th time I'd ever had sex in my entire life. But okay, the verb form of fellatio is fellate, but there's no verb form for cunnilingus. And I asked the internet, let's coin a term. I suggested cungulate, to cunge someone, to cling. That's ridiculous. That's what tree sloths do. And then a friend of mine, Sarah, suggested cannihilate. Like, I'm gonna cannihilate that shit, that girl. Isn't that brilliant? Cannihilate. Cannihilation. Because I always use like really descriptive verbs like devour when I talk.
Yes, I never heard of this. This is a new creation, a new word. I can't really grasp it now.
Cannihilate. Well, cunnilingus is the term for Yeah.
It's a good transformation.
Yeah, I never know how to.
We should use it in the future and go to random woman on the street.
Better than most of the folk that I am usually around here. So I never feel like I have to hold back my vernacular when speaking to one Vasto the Count.
Yes.
One.
I believe that we must go to random women on the street and just tell them, would you like to be annihilated? You know? What would
I feel like everyone has a...
What would they say?
I feel like everyone kind of... I mean, we say words to each other that make quote-unquote sense, but I feel like I could communicate... It's not even telepathically. Like, people get it. You know, there's like some crazy, like, breaky shit going on with people's just sound waves we're making with our voices. Like, I feel like I could come up to someone, and if I wanted to say to a girl, like, hey, I'd devour you if you wanted me to, if you let me. I would. You wouldn't be able to remove me. You'd have to pour salt on me like a fucking freshwater leech to get me to stop. You're so pretty. You know, if I wanted to say that, you're so pretty, I'd devour you for upwards of 20 minutes. I feel like I could just go up and just transmit that by going like, or no, that would be, run. I'd go, hurr, hurr. Yeah. Sharo. And I know the next question from Jeff Horst, once again, a comedian friend of mine of the Motown Laugh Kings. have you accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? If not, why do you want to burn in hell? The second question is not applicable because I have accepted the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ into my heart. I went to Lutheran school as a child, so I was raised Lutheran, and then I took LSD. That made me atheist, and then I learned things. I found the internet, and that made me atheist. And then I took LSD. That made me agnostic. And now I'm in this place right now where I'm just whatever the fuck makes somebody happy. But anyway, there was a time in December of 2011 where I actually looked at the Lutheran church where I actually went to school. That is right. It's in view of my house. Like I'm looking at it right now out the window, and I just looked at it, and I was tripping once again, tripping face. I don't trip all the time, but I do. Maybe like 4 or 5 times a year. Anyway, that's a whole other subject. We'll have a whole show about psychedelic use. But I just looked at the church, and I was like, I'm trying to aspire to be this person that accepts all people's ideologies and whatnot, and isn't here to make enemies, and is trying to love all the magical turtles and whatnot, and a bunch of hippie nonsense. And then I just looked at the church, and I thought, like, fuck those people's idea of it because it's dogmatic and it's based on the book, which is nonsense. And, several Christopher Hitchens quotes that I could say. I mean, that guy fucking breaks down Christianity better than any of them, I think. But anyway, I just looked and I was like, you know what? I remember when Jesus was a friendly turtle, and I used to think of Jesus as one of the best turtles. And then I just looked and I saw the cross thing, and I was like, I love you, Jesus. And then in that moment, I felt this thing, and I was like, holy shit. That's like tuning into the energy of millions of people throughout the centuries who wholeheartedly believed in that and made it real, just like we make shit real all the time. You were summoning things into reality as we speak. Annihilate. He just made Annihilate real. So Jesus Christ is real as fuck.
Mm-hmm. I think to be able to summon things, you need to be somewhat externalized from a certain idea, to not attach necessarily to all the things, because the shaman, in the old days, he used to be the one who didn't even practice what the others were doing. He was always the one who was going and doing a lot of random stuff, and then he just appeared for the ceremonies, so he was very externalized, and that gave him the creative force to create new ceremonies and things, so I believe that in this century, to be able to create something, it's more helpful if you are not really attached to something, like to a certain ideological perspective, to somewhat accept everything that is around you and take parts from everything and make something new.
Word. Just like you externalize. When you said externalize, then it made me think of the movie Altered States, where the guy does ayahuasca in an isolation chamber, and then starts regressing into primate form. And that's exactly the thought I was having about when you were saying, like, when I create, I go into a different mode, and you grow the tusks. You regress. You externalize your inner walrus, bro. You know what anyway. So I just got a text a text question from a friend of mine, Joe Stonebreaker, who asked the woman on the street, referring to the Annihilate tangent. He asked me if she was white or black, and I just want to say that I'm not going to answer that question. And Joe, you're racist as fuck. It's all you ever talk about is people's fucking genus. All you want to talk about is species and genus and fucking categories of humans. She was Turkish. Okay, the girl was Turkish. Isn't it ridiculous when people try to say things like Asian girls are so hit or miss. They're either really pretty or really ugly. If you could fucking say that about any of the tribes or ethnicities, any of them, I haven't seen there is not a single pack. That was bad. A single type of, I don't know what's the fucking word that you say. A single ethnicity, a single ethnic group of humans on this world that don't produce both beautiful, outrageously gorgeous women and males, and outrageously repugnant ones as well. Have you seen what my genus has done? The Caucasians, the Jews, the what am I? I've got Romanian in me. Yeah.
Yeah, you told me that you've got a little Romanian part in you from, what was that, your parents, I don't know.
My father's line immigrated from Romania. But anyway, off the fucking race. What a ridiculous goddamn. I was at a comedy show the other day where it was like, I've been at several recently where it just goes into race and it just sticks in, not when I'm performing, but somebody that it just becomes the fucking topic is just that. And like, it's getting rather annoying. I mean, it's funny and it can be really, really funny, but it's like, I feel like racism about like the same way I feel about pogs. Did you have pogs? Were there pogs in Romania?
There are some people who enjoy to buy different races of dogs, if you are speaking about dogs.
Pogs were these little circles. Okay, no, I have to explain this.
But there is a race of dogs called pogs, if you know.
Pogs? Jesus Christ. Pogs. Well, I'm sure there's Jesus Christ.
The puggies, man. The puggies are cute.
I adore them, too. And we bred them to not live so long or be so healthy. Isn't that fucked? We had two dogs fuck that we knew would create this hybrid that doesn't breathe so well. That's terrible. That's awesome, though, I guess, because they're really adorable. I like Dachshunds. Anyway, Pogs were there's these little, like, they're these thick not cardboard. What the fuck did we make those out of? It's like this, they're like construction paper board they're fucking wood pulp. It's a little fucking, it looks like a Jesus cracker, to bring it back to Jesus. You're familiar with the Jesus crackers, the little Jesus wafers?
What? That would be very disturbing.
I'm trying to describe what Pogs are. I don't know. Anyone who, I was about to say viewers, any listeners who are able to type things at me, how the fuck would you describe a Pog to someone who doesn't know what Pogs are? I'm finding it very difficult.
Well, you can go to Google Images, for example, and type in the name of what you're speaking of, and then just paste the link in the chat room.
That would be fucking cheating, bro. We're trying to get over one of the biggest, one of the most difficult things that the human race has ever faced, and it's been it's just communication. Communicating is fucking difficult. And I feel like, sometimes I feel like the world is already, we've already ended all forms of nationalism and put an end to war with the masses. It's just a few old fucks who still think like, aren't we supposed to do the war and monetary system thing? And it's just people can't communicate to them to like, no, we don't do that anymore. Just like Pogs are irrelevant now. We don't do Pogs anymore. And I think we should stop doing the whole war, IMF, fucking whatever the fuck is going on with the nonsense as we were talking about earlier. But it's not when you said that everyone needs to not be so serious. I think that part of the religion of nonsensism is to have people that are really serious about stupid shit. Like what would the world be without people like, the Westboro Baptist Church and Scientologists and like those people they are comedic well, and I think that they push evolution quite a bit because they show everybody the absolute worst.
Yes, they are a good target for Anonymous. They are a good target for comedians.
They just built a house across the street from them that is. Have you heard this? Just right across the street from Westboro Baptist Church, they just made a gay pride house.
I think they inspire
quality house.
They inspire a lot of creation and reaction around them.
And they show everybody, because in some ways they are doing it by the literal interpretation.
Have you seen those idiotic interpretations of commercial songs and replaced with words from Westboro Baptist Church?
No, but that sounds fantastic.
It sounds very lame. You should really see these videos, man. It's fucking hilarious. Those leaders from the religious manifestation, they try to bring forth the new generation to like their little religion. So what they do is create these covers of commercial songs. Imagine taking the Rihanna instrumental, Beyonce or all that television crap and replacing it with songs about Jesus, with lyrics about the love of Jesus Christ.
Bro, I listen to Christian radio. There's this station called The Light. I listen to all the time for all the wrong reasons. I've listened to it for one good reason though, as in like their good reason. There's the lady who does who's usually the MC. She's fucking hilarious. How no, I don't laugh at her. Sometimes I'm actually genuinely in awe of her. And today Jesus has shined upon us with the evermost glowing of light. And just to know that Rachel and Samantha and Carl are out there doing the work of Christ right now. Like she's just she never breaks that mode, and I find it inspiring. Just her ability to. But it's ridiculous, man. Their songs, every song is like, raise me up and bring me forth the light with raising high, ascending now to light. It's everything. And it's...
some artists, they just can't... not all of them actually believe all this Christian propaganda, but why they do it is because they have no success on their own, just like we have no success, and they compromise themselves and become this pseudo self in this organization, and probably they get a little money and support, But
yeah, I don't think those people are actually Christy. I think anybody who's making that much money off of it and capitalizing on it so thoroughly, they're not genuinely Christy in their heart. Like Joel Osteen is a huge evangelist dude in America. That guy's not Christy. He's not actually down with it by any means. He's doing too well with it, to be really about it. That's just my opinion. I just think he's a smart dude who realized, well, there's a lot of people who are willing to throw a lot of Federal Reserve notes around if I keep talking about the Jesus character. Anyway, back to the questions. Mike Marcel asks, "Tell us how you really feel, please." I haven't fucked a person since it's been 2013. That's pretty much like my constant thought process. And like we were talking earlier about sometimes porn is better than fucking person. That's the rut I got into in my post to be best in life is I went and the first person who came along and fucked me regularly for a long amount of time was a thoroughly attractive, porn looking and fairly accommodating, accommodating at the act person who set my standard at a place. And then I got a little bit older and a little bit more openly weird, and I stopped being a dick to girls for the most part. I started trying to be like nice and gentlemanly, and they hate that. And I found sometimes that I would prefer to watch two strangers fuck that are doing it right than to do it wrong with someone that I don't want to hang out with afterward and am not terribly attracted to, who just a lot of me. It's a reoccurring theme. So that's really that. Let's say, tell us how you really feel. I am a biological fucking vessel that is constantly overwhelmed by my own just lust, just to fuck things. And that's why before I leave my house, I do the world the courtesy of expelling a load, because I don't want you to have to deal with me when my brain can't pay attention to you, because all it's thinking is inner lining, human lining, human lining, inner lining, human lining. I don't like to specify which gender, but all I want to do is be fucking things all the time. So back to Lindsay's question about, well, how do you feel about your message getting out to the world? My message is null and void because I'm a human being. I'm a slithering, creepy crawler, and that's how I really feel. Is that all this bullshit? Every time I say anything prolific or profound, like the God Fractal, for example, just write it off because I jerk off way too much to be taken seriously. How do you feel, Vlad?
I feel pretty. I don't know. I wasn't listening to your previous statement, so
No, it was bullshit. It was bullshit. It was just a bunch of whiny nonsense, and it's something that I can fix at any time.
Nonsense is always good.
Yeah, I have spent the whole fucking winter in just doing computer stuff, and I'm glad for some of the things that have been accomplished. But holy Jesus Christ, my back hurts. I want to run and jog and do stuff. I want to go do things, and. But this is going to be great. This is going to be great all summer to be doing this little show. Have you ever cooked food with semen as an ingredient? Asked Jessica. Gross. Just gross. Gross, bro. No. Can I just say no? No. No, gross. I thought about coming in people's food that I disliked before I grew morals, but I never really did. But I may. I don't know. Vaso, is there somebody on planet Earth that you have such an abject disrespect and disregard for that you would come in their food knowing
coming in the food? I don't know. That's a question that does not make any sense, which is appropriate for a show like ours because it's summoning the nonsense, and we talk about things that have no sense. You know.
I feel like things that seem to make perfect sense are the most nonsensical. Like the president on the television talking about the sequester and shit. That is the ultimate nonsense is stuff that people think makes lots of sense. The ultimate nonsense is the things that people are ready to die for. I feel like we are a watered down emulation of true nonsense. True nonsense believes in itself.
Yes, we have Susan in the Skype, but I don't know if she wants to talk or not.
Susan.
I'm sitting quietly listening to you making sense of nonsense, so I'm sitting quietly in silence.
You have
nonsense.
You should be Moneypenny, or just somebody who gives mission objectives to like double agents. Can you say something like, "You must find and retrieve the jewels," or some, just some.
You must find and retrieve the sense of nonsense, Zachary. That is your mission. Do not report back to base until you have found the sense of nonsense.
The center.
The center of nonsense. The middle of the whole universe. The core. The yolk. The fucking yolk, bro.
Yolk, bro.
I'm receiving a telephone call, but I'm not going to answer it.
What is that which you call a yoke? I do not understand the English language.
The yolk is. Are you familiar with the egg? You said you raise chickens. The chickens when they go through their birthright, when they expel the ovals of white, in the center. I'm sure you've observed this.
There is the nucleus inside of the egg.
Yes, it is the yellow gooey nucleus.
Yes.
That is in America we refer to that as the yolk.
Interesting. I did not knew that term. But yes, everything is similar. Like the universe has a center and it has its own yolk, and I don't know, the atom is similar to an egg. Everything is similar. Our eyes have a yolk. Everything has a yolk.
I feel like we're getting quantum as fuck now. Shall we get quantum as fuck? What do you like? I feel like I always want to relay everything back to fuckery. And
ask Susan.
How do you feel about the?
I do nothing. Silently listening.
Okay, one becomes learned and aware, lucid of the quantum world.
Bob McMatt asks if Zach sleeps with his hand puppet.
With Fractal the Magical Turtle?
Yes.
No, not really. Here's the whole. I can explain that in a second. Fractal the Magical Turtle lives inside of me. It was kind of an etheric turtle that jumped into my brain in a forest last year, and since then it's my nucleus essentially is Fractal the Magical Turtle. The puppet is that's just a piece of cloth that I use as a physical representation so that others, it's supposed to make it less weird when I go into that mode, just like Vlad with the tusks in his dark room and his spinning chair. I go into magical turtle mode and I put the puppet on so that others won't be weirded out by the fact that they're now talking to a not separate but another dimension of my
personality,
yeah.
existence.
It's my egoless self is fractal to magical turtle.
Yes, I have noticed that. Yes.
So how that answers the question is the puppet to me means very little. I didn't at first. When I first got it, I was like, this is perfect. This is a wonderful little turtle. And then I started talking to it, and I started talking with myself to it when nobody was around. And I started trying to cultivate multiple personalities with it. Like I was into the idea of actually having like a real insanity. Because I've been called insane my entire life, but I've never felt it. You know, like I've always felt like I have a good grip on reality. I just don't like reality that much. So I'll, do nonsense things and,
Yes, that's exactly what I do myself. I find sometimes the surrounding environment is just repugnant, so I try to create the nonsense to escape from the absolute, from this world, which is not really stimulating, and it's actually quite boring in some areas.
It's pretty. It's intense as hell. See. Here's the thing: that whole reality thing. Like, okay, I'm gonna go down a hippie avenue right now. Yes. A motherfucking tree.
Susan will like this. Susan lives in a jungle town.
A motherfucking tree. Okay, if you look at a motherfucking tree, the way the branches fractal out, it's just this arbitrary growth. It's insane. It's so perplexing. It's ridiculous. It's no human could. I mean, you can draw one that looks like one, but nobody could predict how that shit. It's absurd. It just seems so randomized. And there's so many things like a cloud too. You can see 1,000 little things in a cloud. So that's reality. But if you see somebody in the woods staring at a tree, or, if they stop traffic to get out of their car and say everybody, like, look at that cumulonimbus cloud, bro. Look, I see the face of Zeus, bro. Look at that. It's clearly a tortoise with the head of Zeus. Everybody would say you're aloft. You're aloof. You're not involved in reality. Reality is we're in our fucking, our metal boxes, our plastic boxes, traveling to our jobs. Our jobs are real. You're not being realistic, but the fucking tree is very real. The job and the need for your occupation is manufactured by your brain, bro. Somebody had to make that up at some point. Like, some people have jobs around here that are just so ridiculous, man. There's a store by my house called, excuse me, I've been sick and I'm coughing up the last of my reptilian demons. There's a storefront by my house called Jersey Girl. Jersey Girls, it's an outlet. I don't know what they sell. I imagine makeup and fucking bracelets and whatever the fuck. But, you're an employee at Jersey Girls with a Z. And there's a Z in the jersey, too, I believe. That's somebody's job, So somebody's like, I'm going to work. It's more important than staring at the fucking clouds. Is Jersey Girls... Is that reality? Is that something that is necessary? Even like something that is kind of necessary, like a restaurant or something like that, is still, there's people find food. They'll figure it out. So, I used to work at a group home. I'm not going to get into that because that'll get offensive if I if I'm intellectually honest about my workings at a group home. It'll upset. Even if only 12 people are listening, it'll upset one of them. Oh yeah. So anyway, I don't sleep with the fucking puppet. Is the whole point of that tangent. I don't, because to me it's just a puppet. Like I left it at the haunted house that I work at once, and it was really cold.
39 people listening right now.
Hello, 39 magical turtles. Hello,
and 30 people in the chat room.
And I don't have a puppet on my hand when I say, I love you all, magical turtles. And the point of that is, if I say in my actual voice, like I couldn't even say it, like I love you all. Ugh, God, I don't like to say hippie nonsense like that, But Fractal the Magical Turtle is egoless, and he doesn't care how he's perceived. He just wants to tell you that he recognizes that we're all just little fragments.
Yeah, but people can understand now that you have limits and stuff. But Zach has no limits. He does nonsense in front of, like at the Occupy movement, there was this police thing. Like people, police in riot gear, and Zach was just doing a really interesting dance in front of them, not caring at all.
Well, I'm not going to say it. I didn't care. If I didn't care entirely,
that
I
was
would
really...
have got closer to them, and I'm afraid of mace.
That was really funny and symbolic for human freedom.
That is one thing that I will. That was probably the most meaningful moment of my life. Silly walking in front of riot cops. I highly suggest it to anyone who ever finds themselves in like a protest situation or a thing where there's a bunch of people with signs and stuff, and then there's cops with shields and bats and mace and tasers and guns and shit. Fucking silly walk in front of them. The most ridiculous leg movements you can. Watch your legs, don't, because if you accidentally kick one of them, they'll fucking destroy you. And so keep a safe distance. But silly walk in front of the riot cops. It's so liberating.
What do you think? What do you think of the superheroes, the real life superheroes that go on the streets and help the homeless?
I love that. Have you seen that documentary? I love that documentary.
Yeah, but on HBO or something. But I saw it on YouTube with like people dressed in really silly outfits.
What's that dude? What's the main dude? Master Chief or something? No, that's from fucking Halo.
No, I don't remember their names though.
There was one of them that was absurdly ridiculous, and he was drinking Busch Light as he's fucking fighting crime, and he was constantly trying to say, like, I don't do it for drunkenness. I don't do it as a drug. It's just when one is out fighting crime, being a vigilante, you work up a whopping thirst. Anyway, that guy, that's a hero of mine. Like, that inspires me. Lack of fuck giving is a beautiful thing when one can achieve it.
Yeah, real life superheroes. I have one on my Facebook actually, but I'm trying to remember his name. It's a really fat guy with a nice original costume, going outside, giving sandwiches to homeless people, and living his fantasy, basically. He's like, I'm helping the world.
Word. That's why. Well, I feel like Fractal, is the superhero, because that's ultimately, I think that is what the human race is realizing right now, is that it takes a lot more bravery to be like an MLK or Gandhi figure than it does to be like to just a banana clip and go where there's the most humans and fucking open fire. Like fear of violence is a thing by all means. Like, most of us don't want to get hurt, and it sucks when hot lead punctures you, and I don't want that to happen at all. But I think that I definitely think there's more courage that goes into somebody who walks unarmed into a situation of danger than one who goes to even like a William Wallace situation. But there was a time where William Wallace's were very, very relevant and valid, and I feel like that time has passed, and now we're at a time where actual courage is like the photo meme of the kid hugging the riot cop, and the cop doesn't beat him. Like that to me is like, that's some badassery. I should be saying that in a turtle voice because anyway. Oh, I wanted to finish that guy's question. I had a time where back when I first got the puppet, the turtle puppet, I thought that the puppet was a significant thing. So I lost it in the cold once. So my fucking, imagine that little turtle puppet got lost on a tractor at the haunted house that I worked at. So it's in a pile of frost, and I left it there overnight. And I was thinking oh my God, my turtle. I'm speaking as the turtle as I'm saying oh my God, I left my turtle. I'm a bad turtle. I left my friend. And then I went and I drove up there to get him. I left one of my comedy shows to just go and rescue this turtle. And when I went and found him, the puppet didn't care, because the puppet, I realized very quickly that the puppet was an inanimate object. It's just a static thing. So, there was no forgiving to be done. I was just talking to myself, and then I realized, this isn't something this isn't something I do for me. This is a thing that helps others' brains. I fucking weirded a lot of people out at a co-op at a college town this St. Patty's Day, talking to them through the turtle. Not everybody is ready for a stranger to walk up to them and talk to them as a magical turtle. Let's get into other things. I'd like to get back into meaningful shit like genital friction and stuff.
Susan, hello.
Hello, Susan. Hello, Susan.
I like listening to all the different
imagination, and I'm not here.
What?
Carry on, lads.
If I ever need someone to do the voiceover for like a time bomb, you are it.
You have
Thank you.
10 seconds until this shit will blow.
T-minus 12, 11. Oh, okay. Brent asks, who are some comedians that inspire you? How did you get into comedy? What the fuck is comedy? Why do we laugh? And like physically, what is the reason for the bodily reaction? That's a lot.
Zachary, what's it all for? What's it all?
I don't know.
Zachary?
I don't know. I've always wondered.
Come on,
that.
Zachary. You know stuff that other people don't know about. Come on.
No, I fucking don't. If I did, I would do better. I'd be a more effective creature if I knew all these things. I don't know what laughter is at all.
No. Go with the intellectual voice and start making up some shit.
Right. Laughter is... May I preface this with this is all going to be bullshit, but laughter is when your brain recognizes that the input that it is receiving is so expansive and so beyond what we can compute viscerally that it gives off this reaction, much like when one is tickled. This is a foreign feeling now. This is someone's middle finger in my armpit that is wiggling about. Usually a cousin, or someone who is ultimately flirting with you, trying to dock genitals with you, is tickling you now. What do I do? This is so absurd. Why is this person touching me in this way? So instead of trying to form a sentence, one ha 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 ha, and one does this little exhalation thing, and it's the same when somebody says something like a Holocaust joke. A massive human tragedy involving the deaths of millions, and then one belittles it with like the grandfather fell off the fucking guard tower joke or something like that. One laughs because one thinks, "Oh my God, that's so awful. My brain even can't even compute that." So you just laugh. Would you like to hear the most awful Holocaust joke that I ever heard? And it was told to me from an Israeli, so it's okay. It's terrible. I feel like I just need at least one person to say, "Okay, go."
Okay, go, Zachary.
Okay, this was told to me by an Israeli friend of mine who I'm now very good friends with, who I met also at the Burning Man Desert Festival. Oh fuck, I forgot. Yep. No. Well, here's the second worst. I'll remember the first worst. And it was two Jewish boys who are playing in the ghetto. One picks up a handful of dust and throws it in the other's eyes, and the other kid says, "Don't bring your family into this." That was told to me by a Jew turtle. Anyway, it was funnier in the desert with his accent. It was funnier with his accent. I don't fucking know. I love all you people and your accents, by the way. All you people. You people from other countries. My grandmother is very ethnocentric. She doesn't like it when people aren't white. But she's not mean to them or anything. She just feels like they're inconveniencing her by not taking the time to just be white when she's around. She told me this once.
Well, yeah, exactly. I have a mother who's like that. If you're Japanese and you belong to the Second World War, we hate you. Yeah.
I feel. I mean, she makes it sound reasonable. She's just like, why can't they just when I'm around, just take the extra effort to be white? I feel like it's easy for me here. It's effortless being white. But let's get another question in, because I don't know how we fucking got to that. Have you ever cooked with semen? I can't believe somebody fucking asked that. Jesus Christ, no. Who are the comedians that inspire you? I don't want to answer that. I don't want to talk about that. What the fuck is comedy? Who the fuck knows? Why do we laugh? I don't fucking know. I laugh at ridiculous things these days. Like, I make myself laugh more effectively than any really else does. Like, just in the shower, in the reflection of the shower head, I'll just like make a strange face and just say like,
"The orchestral ceremony of the forge has arrived for stew,"
and then just start cracking up, because that's what the fuck is going on in the Middle East.
That is the meaning of life.
agree.
Yes, Foster, that's very true. I like to talk to myself because nobody interrupts and I get it right every time. So I hear you, Zachary. You continue. No. It's good. Yes, so and if somebody wants to comment on your own conversation, well, so be it.
It is very good show. It is very good.
Oh, what are my somebody asked about battle rapping. I do a thing called battle rapping here. Somebody asked about what is your thoughts on Fibs vs. Hooligan. I don't want to talk about that because we're having intergalactic conversations now. I can't
do some rapping for us.
I'm sickly.
15 seconds.
No, I get an excuse today. I don't have to rap. Oh, actually, I here's the thing that just oh my Christ, I'm sickly. I hate people who make excuses for themselves verbally, but I will say I'm going to be a lot better at this when I'm not sick as fuck. It's hard to even enjoy life when you're sick as fuck. And I found that entertaining, so this answers the person's question. Comedy is when there's an individual with a microphone stand-up comedy primarily is when there's an individual with a microphone who is actually having fun in front of you, saying things that they think are truly silly, and it's a mutual thing. That's when it's good. And just like with life in general, you gotta have mutual enjoyment. It's best entertainment is rarely a service. It's a person doing a thing that they really enjoy, and there happens to be an audience for it. Just like fuckery too, you can't fake lust. The best. I feel like the best. I watched a documentary the other day that was about hookers in Thailand. It was called A Whore's Glory, and the hookers shine laser pointers on the Johns who are walking by in the alley from this this little bridge that's see-through, and they're up there dancing scantily clad, and they shine little green laser pointers on the dude's chest, and then the dude will look up and be like, do I want to have sex with a stranger for money? To give them money? And makes the choice, and I found that inspiring, and I don't know where the fuck I got to that, but this movie blew my fucking mind, man, and now I carry a laser pointer. If I shine a laser pointer, never mind. That's a bad question. I'm going to take another question from
the reactions of the opposite reactions of what we are doing.
You know what, Vosto? What do you feel needs to be said to the world?
I feel that we must bring forth superior intelligence like mine into all the human brains in the world. And then we can bring forward much more creation and useful things. Like
superior intelligence.
Staying in your, couch and doing nothing. It's important to be able to do that, and also create myths such as the winged giraffe myth, which you can use to travel to other dimensions by summoning your cape, which you can talk with, and you can insert codes into it, which codes you get from the crystal that you get from the ocean, and you use the cape to summon the giraffe, which you can go in space.
Giraffe. Giraffe, hayo. Giraffe, hayo. Hayayaro. Hey. Oh.
Yes.
Giraffes are
winged giraffes.
You can't domesticate one. You cannot.
You can create a winged giraffe, and the giraffe will take you to other fields of knowledge as well, if you like. Because the thing is, you do not control the giraffe. The giraffe controls you.
Exactly. I've always felt that way. Since there was this book that we had as children, it was called Don't Talk to Strangers, and on the cover there was a giraffe, and it was all these different, exotic animals coming up to this kid being like, hey, you want to go behind this wall and do some fucking drug meth, some heroin crack with me? But it's a lot more, wholesome requests than that. It was usually like, "Do you want to go share this banana?" And it's like a gorilla, and the kid would be like, "No, don't talk to strangers," and walk away. You know when you spit on your computer screen?
Computorium screen.
You accidentally spit on your computorium screen, and you can see the rainbow fractals. You can see the light spectrum in your saliva glowing. You know how that happens? The rainbow, the light spectrum. Man, that always reminds me of whatever you want to call it, the divine, whatever the hell. Whatever the word is.
When you see the reflections of the visible light spectrum inside the water particles and spit.
I don't spit water.
You spit enzymes with water and other components.
I spit Enzite, the male enhancement fluid. I have an idea for the male enhancement industry. Are there the commercials for dick pills?
No.
You get American television, you said.
Yes, but I don't watch television.
Oh, but you've seen a dick pill advertisement at some point, though, right?
No, not really.
Oh, well, we're constantly flooded with advertisements for pills that make your genitals enlarge, and I think that.
I mean, I know what they are, but I don't know. I have never seen such commercial before,
They're really, really, really convincing. Not that the thing works, but they sell it really well because they'll just have really, really hot chicks with massive tits saying like, "Oh, size totally matters." Like I was with this guy once and I thought he was totally cute and I thought he was totally like intellectual and substantive, but they don't say that because they just say like, and I thought he was like cool. And I took him back to my apartment and took his pants off, and it seriously looked like a chapstick. And I just walked out of the room. And they'll to have all these testimonials of girls saying like, I couldn't even like fuck him. I couldn't even talk to him. I was mad at him for having a tiny dick, and I just shamed him. And I branded him right there with I gave him the serpentine logo on his forehead, thus showing that he has a tiny dick and needs to die alone in a that's the type of shit they say. And if you're watching and you're
very, very depressed if you are in the situation of having a small instrument.
It's even if you're watching as someone who is like fucking to the point where dick is a problem, like it's where it impedes running. Still, you're going to see that and be like, "Oh my god, the empathy that you feel for the." I mean, they're probably lying, but anyway, I'm watching this and I'm like, I think that it would be a more like all-encompassing solution to the tiny dick problem, like a shrink ray. I say we shrink the women.
Yes.
Why do I have to change?
That is the solution. Manpower. We must make the woman smaller so we can fit our cocks inside them with no problems.
You don't have to be so obtuse about it, man. I was going to say it in a completely eloquent, gentlemanly way that we should. Smaller women is the solution.
I don't know, man.
Because that's how I make up for my lackings in this world. Is you'll never see me with a girl who's taller than me.
Yes, well, I am 2 meters tall already, so it's not possible to get a taller woman anyway.
You're
6.4 feet.
I did not know you were a tall person, and I've known you a lot.
Yes, 6.4 feet, 2 meters. Or actually 1 meter 96, but same shit.
Yeah.
So I cannot have a very big, there is no woman bigger than me.
If I were a person who fucks males, and I don't exclude that one day, perhaps, maybe, I don't even see it as changing sides. You know how I see the whole sexual alignment thing? I don't have any rules. I've never had the inclination to fuck a male thus far. Never once.
I tried to watch pornographic homosexual material but to see if I'm truly gay, but I found out that I am not.
I feel I attempted the same thing, but I didn't watch porn. I just like tried to think like a homosexual scenario. Like I jerk off with my mind a lot more.
So
I was
you
about to say
imagined
efficiently,
a
thoroughly.
homosexual
Does you feel like it's a third eye
person.
workout when you jerk off without porn and you just make up a scenario in my brain? I feel like I'm like I feel like I'm
Think
exercising.
about high school colleagues that I used to have.
Yeah, no, totally, absolutely. I think about humans mostly that I know, and when I watch porn, I always will try to, unless I'm watching like. Okay, that was about to take it in the race direction again, and I tend to go off on tangents. Unless I'm watching someone of an ethnicity that I don't personally know anyone of that tribe, and if it's not that, then I always will superimpose mentally the head of a girl that I know onto the body of the person in the two-dimensional image getting fucked. Always. I don't jerk off watching these celebrity people ever. Like there was just the girl that fucking set the bar really high and has like fucked my existence stuff because I just a compliant human is not enough anymore. I need one with deep-seated parental issues. Like, because they're the only ones that I find fun to dock genitals with. But anyway, that's a terrible thing about me. But there's a porn star who looks exactly like this girl who has been like the object of my lust for like fucking 4 years.
Do you want
She
to
looks
have a
exactly
break,
like
Zach?
What would I do with the break? Jerk off. That's what I would do.
No.
Do I want to jerk off? No. Every time I jerk off, I lose a little bit of myself and soul.
No, I mean break for the show.
That's what I said. If I took a break right now, I'd flog.
Okay. So
I think what you're asking is, can we have a break because you want one?
I don't know. I'm just thinking because an hour passed by, we can have a break and then do another hour or stop. It all depends on whatever you want to do.
I'd rather go through and stop.
I could go until the morning.
Yeah, no, I'd continue for another however fucking so long because there are humans now trying to contact me to have an actual evening out in like the three-dimensional world, and I'm in no means antsy to go out and get into that, but
Cool.
I will. So let's continue talking. I have been asked, jelly or jam? That's pretty straightforward.
Jelly or jam? This is complicated. Jelly or jam?
I don't even feel like I really fully understand the difference.
Jelly is jelly, and jam is jam.
Jelly can be like petroleum jelly. There's no,
Jelly
There's
has more jelliness. It's more jelly.
Now, if you were to say Jell-O or jam, I'd say jam in a second because I've had an aversion to Jell-O for years now.
I don't know, I like homemade jam from fruits that I grow myself in the yard that I have on this land that I own.
And you don't think that you can manufacture your own dimethyltryptamine? That's I think it's possible if you have enough room to. I mean, I don't know the procedure behind it, but I imagine that maybe the technology doesn't not exist now.
Right
but
now it's snowing very hard, so you can.
Isn't it in everything though? Can't you extract it from almost any biological material? It's just there's a lot of it in that bark that they use for the ayahuasca.
I think
That's what
there is a different type of plant that only grows in South America.
No, but it exists. It exists in anything that's alive in a small degree. From what I understand, it's just not extractable from everything. Which takes us to our next question. Have you smoked DMT, Mr. Fractal? What do you think about the Silk Road? I believe the first question has been answered, but as soon as the show began, without even saying. But what do I think of the Silk Road? I'm not familiar with that concept. I always talk about the clockwork elves and like the fairies and elementals. That I'm yet to.
World of Warcraft creatures.
That's the Silk Road?
I don't know, but in that game there are a lot of creatures like this. And also other MMO games, like Terra Online.
When I think of the Silk Road, I think about the fucking... Isn't that like the Mediterranean... Like that's the passport... Is the passageway they used to use to sell silk and spices and shit. Is the Silk Road something I need to know about the Silk Road and what it has to do with counterculture and shit?
I do not know what is the Silk Road. How can I make a road out of silk? It will not be very efficient because cars cannot drive on silk. They need a different kind of material to be able to drive.
I disagree. I think it could be done. Yeah, I know it's the fucking trade route for silk to China through in Europe. I know that, Joe Stonebreaker, you racist fuck. And he's a desert boy. And he's a desert boy. That's not the problem. And he's a desert boy. But I'm one of those as well. But he's my friend Joe Stonebreaker, who's obsessed with ethnicity and race, has informed me that it is the trade route to China for silk through Europe. And I knew that, but Brent asked, have you smoked DMT, and what do you think about the Silk Road? I feel like the Silk Road has some relevance in counterculture stuff. Let's talk about Graham Hancock.
I do not know who this person is.
He's the dude who talks about altered states of consciousness and things, and he had the TED Talk recently. They got taken down.
Yes, the guy who has an interesting voice.
Yes, very. I watched that TED Talk, and I don't think that it was I don't think it's cool to censor things. But I think that he was doing more than just offering, the idea of, shamanism being, very real. Like we were talking about externalizing reality, and he was doing more than just offering the spirit realm to people. He was kind of selling it, and I think that's why they took it down. And I actually, after I watched it, I kind of felt like, because at first when I heard that his talk had been taken down, I was like kind of outraged. And then I watched it and I was like, oh, well, he's fucking, you're not supposed to. I mean, there's TED Talk things where they're clearly trying to,
the Illuminati. He's
really pushing for it. He's really like saying like, you all of you need to fucking expand your minds. He's not, I mean, he didn't say that exactly, but I don't like it when people state things as fact. I wish it was like a motherfucking, not a law, but I wish that it was a common courtesy that more people understood, linguistic courtesy, that before you say a thing that is not absolutely fucking agreed on and known, just say
exactly.
I think.
Exactly.
I think, I feel, I observe that.
Nothing is linear, everything is very diverse. You cannot go on a straight path.
Word. Everything's fucking debatable. Every goddamn... Because these words we're using, man, which goes back to the grunting, to the... Like, I want to communicate with like that so bad. And which is why I miss fucking people so much, because that's such a great form of communication. Like, I go on so many less needless rants when I have a regular person to dock genitals with, By that I don't mean a regular, like a normal person to dock genitals with. That rarely happens. Like a person that I regularly have genital friction with, I have so much less pent-up shit to spew because I feel like I communicate so much to someone by, thrusting into their genital lining. Anyway, it's communicating. It's I don't know exactly what I'm saying.
It's good quality communication.
It is like a fucking hug to be more wholesome.
Yes, the snuggles are good.
Yes, snuggling is that's totally, it transmits
fucking snuggle everyone in the chat room. I have a snuggles button, which I
fucking snuggle everyone in the chat room. That was awesome. That was one of your better quotes.
And also, there's many ways to communicate. So you're just mentioning just a few of the ways that one can communicate. So yes, I'm listening quietly in the background. The world is not going to end in 30 seconds. It's okay.
Oh, that was marvelous. That was so wonderful. Oh, eye contact. It says a lot. Like, I just want to do that with strangers more often, just so like. But I feel like it would need to be. We do this talking thing so much. We're so adamant about it. There's so many people that I feel like I need to have a thorough conversation with, where we don't say a goddamn thing. Like, and until that, we don't understand each other. There's so many human beings that I fucking really want to just have a 12-minute eye contact conversation with, then fuck the Christ out of them. But like, I just get anyway. That fell apart. But yeah, but that is how I feel about a lot of people. I can't tell you what I'm. Anyway, it's an online site where you can buy anything, including DMT and all their magical potions. You got to use Bitcoins, and it's legit. Vlad, I think Vosto, I think I found your solution right there.
What solution?
The Silk Road. If you wanted to acquire divine moments of truth. That's so frightening, though.
you should give me the appropriate site in the chat room so I can post it further for other thirstles to reach it.
Thirstles. I like that. Let's coin that. A thirstle is a thirsty
turtle.
I speak no good English. My English no good.
Bitcoin inflation in price markets makes makes Silk Road useless now. Nobody wants to use such a volatile currency, says my friend Adam. Even with the invention of unlimited free clean energy, do you think as a species we could survive or just use it to destroy ourselves in more advanced ways? What would the outcome of that be? Dude, I think that's when the whole shit spin changes. Don't you, Vlad? When we have fucking shit. Bosto.
Yes, I believe that
How much of a
fucking
rule is
shit
that?
is important, and we must all fuck shit because that is very good for you.
I don't like it when people even like feces. I don't even like it when people mention it. I really don't, and it's like I'm really I'm thorough about honesty and about candidness.
Right, so
and about
repeat
anything.
the
But when
question
somebody says I'm about to go take a shit, I feel like that way you didn't need to fucking need it. I just
I would like to go
fucking up the game. You're fucking up the game.
excrement in the toilet.
No, even that the whole no more. I don't like that. This show will be free of poopy talk. I'm laying the fucking foot down right now. No fucking poopy talk. And don't and Joe Stoneberger makes a fucking great point right now. Do not fucking say the scientific word for male genitalia because it freaks me out. It has since I had I was at the doctor and there was he grabbed my dick like a cigarette and he said your penis is, and he didn't have your accent, but he like looked me in the eye and said the penis as he has my dick like a cigarette. Since then, when anyone says that word, I get like centipedes. There's centipedes in my brain.
I think that the appropriate accent will be more like your intellectual accent. You know, like your penis is.
Stop! Now you've done it. I'm serious. I had to say it once so that the listeners would know what I was referring to. Vasto,
yes.
even with the invention of unlimited free clean energy, do you think as a species we would survive, or just use it to destroy ourselves in more advanced ways? What would the outcome of that be? If we had unlimited free clean energy, I think that there's only one thing to do at that point, and that's go inner and outer space. Inner and outer space.
I think that they will just use it to create weapons to destroy the world. But Vostok will save everyone.
Who are they? Are you talking about the fourth dimensional shape-shifting reptilian Illuminati? Are you talking about the 12th dimensional fucking goo-shifting amphiboids?
I'm talking about business, my friend. Business will create weapons because it's profitable.
No, it stops being profitable when we have clean and unlimited free energy.
Yes, but
I think that's the whole deal right now.
The weapons will be sold even if they are made with clean energy.
I think the whole shit comes down after that. And that's why there's so many folk who are doing all they can to suppress that.
It will never be released, my friend.
Don't say never to me, goddammit.
It is impossible.
What do you fucking mean? It can be done. We know it can be done. Like you can.
It is impossible to be released because forces are there which kill you if you are close to release.
And you don't think that they're fucked? I think they're so fucked right now. I think those people are shaking in their boots. I think they realize that the internet exists now.
Yes.
And even if they tried to censor the internet, then people would freak out. I don't think that people would take that lying down. And I don't think
They cannot censor the internet because Anonymous is guarding it, and it will attack.
I think even if they like went as far as like even like EMP shockwave situation, like we started off with no electronic devices. I think that the hacker folk would probably they wouldn't be the first to it, but they would they'd cultivate the technology again. I don't think there's any way to stop free information now, and free information is the end of all of that control. It's just a matter of time.
Zachary, if
Yes.
I may, I'm so glad you brought the hackers into it. I'd like to say hi to all you little hot hackers and all you little hot hacker juniors and all you ones who aren't even born yet. I think it's wonderful what you do, and it's like crocheting. You just sort of take one little piece of the knitting apart, and it all unravels and things are revealed. So, hi to you, little hackers. Thank you.
Yes.
That was wonderful. I love them too. I love the hacker turtles.
That would keep me going for millions of years.
So when you say that, Vosto, I'm not upset. I'm not upset with you, but I'm disappointed that you would say that it will never be released. What are you talking about? Are you trying to say that the fourth dimensional shape-shifting Illuminati, that they actually have a stranglehold on the world?
Why is it the Illuminati who do the shape-shifting? Why are you just limiting it to them? Hello,
I just like to throw out a bunch of...
He's just throwing a bunch of shit to define establishment,
Yeah, I call them the fourth dimensional shape-shifting Illuminati. And I am Jewy myself, so I can say slightly anti-Semitic things, but I can't say really anti-Semitic things. But yeah, they're
I don't know.
That always resonates with people. Whenever I say Illuminati, people always chuckle because there's truth in that.
Oh, I have a friend who is a quantum physicist and told me that we are very far away from such discoveries.
Oh no, I don't think that it exists right now, but I think that's totally fucking possible. I think that the idea of toroidal flow will bring about. I mean, I am not by any means a person who can speak science jargon at all, but I mean, from what I have observed, from what I have read, and from what I have just heard from folks who are very learned and are that is their career. It's not impossible for us to not necessarily unlimited. Okay. Like in Thrive, Thrive when they say that we'll be able to just use the torus to just create energy from the fabric of space. Like I think we're far from that.
Zachary, can I please?
Sure.
Dark matter. It never had a measurement, and it's only quite recently that they have a measurement for measuring dark matter. Up until then, it didn't exist. It was nothing. So when you speak of shape shifting and time and all these sorts of things, it's there. It just needs to be acknowledged, comprehended. Yes. Thank you.
The shapeshifters. See, the shapeshifters, I can never really. I can't really do that. I mean, once the whole moon station, like David Icke and whatnot. I don't know. I can't. In all intellectual honesty, I cannot say that I think that there are lizard people that are controlling. I think that that's a good model to use, though. I think that just like the Jesus thing we were talking about earlier, I feel the same way about Jesus. And okay, let me word this better. I feel
Jesus
the same way.
Is real.
Yeah, I feel the same way about the actual objective existence of Jesus as I do about the fourth dimensional shape-shifting of Illuminati. I feel like
Jesus
that's was a dude. But I'm not. Yeah, no, I think he's an awesome thought.
So,
I'm not sure if he was an actual dude, though.
Some people think that Jesus is actually a reptilian.
I always like to make whenever
like a Lemurian, who were the ones responsible for freeing from the enslaved shackles that we were put in by the Atlantean civilization. Yes.
I always like a good troll that I like to do whenever I'm in any kind of if there's a bunch of comments where people are getting really Christy with it. One thing I would ask Shirley Phelps, if that would be a dream. to be able to interview Shirley Phelps, I would say as a Christian myself, I was very alarmed.
I have an idea. I have a great idea. We can actually bring her, convince her to come on this radio and tell her that this is a Christian fanatic.
And I'll host it at Sasper Birdsman. And I'll be like, hello, Shirley Phelps. Love the work you do. Yeah. Especially your work with the Jews. I like that you don't regard them as the ultimate enemy of truth and justice. And I understand that and it's because the opposite of hatred is not love. The opposite of love is not hatred, it's indifference. So you show indifference towards the Jews, and that infuriates them. And if they get angry enough, they actually explode. So we'll have Shirley. I would love Shirley Phelps and Sasper Birdsman would be a great conversation.
Yeah, it would be epic. Epicness.
Word. We were talking about something. Okay, with the whole toroidal flow and creating energy out of the fabric of space. I think we're far from that, but I mean, these water generators, I've had that science explained to me pretty thoroughly. We need a sciencey person to say things. I don't like to talk outside of my school of thought that I am an expert in, and that's malarkey. So whenever it gets to a point where the actual scientific terminology and jargon is necessary, I always like to just pass the microphone to somebody who can actually speak sense.
Next time I can bring on Zatya, who is a student of quantum physics and makes the next generation of computers, which is quantum computers. And he can talk about a lot of sciencey stuff with no problems whatsoever. Yes.
Jesus manifestations. Let's get back to the Jesus and the reptilians. Okay.
Yeah, thought, matter, dark matter, light matter, projection.
It is all outside the visible light spectrum. I cannot feel those realms.
Susan, if I ever make a documentary about the cosmos, you will be narrating it. And these are all.
I am in it.
I feel like we are making a documentary about the cosmos right now.
And I can master the sound and compose ambient music for it as a background.
Oh, there you're going to be magical sorcery.
Okay, so Jesus, I am uncertain. I'm at just about the same level of certainty about the objective of existence of an actual dude, Yeshua, who lived in, Yeshua the Nazarene. I have just about the same level of certainty that dude existed in actual, fucking time and space like we are right now. I'm pretty certain that Vosto and Susan exist. I'm pretty certain that these 39 listeners, I'm pretty sure that you exist in the same way that I do. Like I was saying earlier, I jerked off and felt like I was presentable. I feel like all of you humans can do that as well. Or, I feel like vaginas are, they're I feel like there's good and bad vag days, I feel too, right? Yes. Sometimes they're unpresentable.
The manifestation of thought is real, The manifestation of thought is real.
Quantum penis science.
Lizards lose their tails and grow it back again, so their thought is able to manifest a tail. So, people speak of lizard people, and I think they speak of it from a Hollywood book projection thought thingy, mindfest thingy, one of them swirly things. Thank you, Zachary. Thank you, Vosto.
I think we give them too much credit by calling them lizard people. I think it's I think machine men with machine minds and machine men with machine minds and machine hearts. I think that's the best way to describe those who are. Is
that from the Charlie Chaplin speech?
Yes, it is. I think those are the ones who are fucking the game up. Is folks who cease to be folks. Yes. They're not. I don't think that they're evil at all. I think that's giving them way too much credit. They're doing some evil shit. But say if there could, and it's always conglomerates, and it's almost always systemic when something really big and terrible happens. Like
the origin. Can I say something here?
The origin. I thought you were going to talk about oranges, and I was going to be like, no, that's not fucking relevant, man. But no, go on about
the oranges are very good.
They are delicious.
The origins of evil lie within the psychopathic minds. That's all.
But they're not. But I feel like the big systemic things aren't evil. They're just. They're just.
What is
evil is just a term which we use.
Here's evil, like really, really bad, negative, sinful shit that is lucid of the fact that it is doing wrong.
But for them, probably it's like something positive.
State, I should look this up before I go say. But I was just told there's oh my god, I don't. This is the worst Google search of my entire life right now. Oh my god, because there was a case was told to me in Michigan recently that there was a man arrested for essentially killing his daughter with his dick, fucked his infant child to death. Okay, now that's pretty fucking evil, I would say. If there's a thing that's evil, if there's such a thing as being evil, I'd say fucking your kid to death is up there. And I went to go Google search it, and I typed
watch a Serbian film if you want to see more hardcore action.
Okay, so that's okay. Yeah, baby's death during rapes, heinous as it gets in West Michigan. This fucking year. This is fucking no. It was 2012. That's fucking. And maybe there was two of them. I don't know. There's people who have fucked their kids to death. That's fucking pretty awful. Okay, so I think there's a big difference between fucking your kid to death as an individual, you must be lucid of the fact that you're doing something wrong as you do that, as you contemplate it. And anybody who ever says that, like, I accidentally raped a person, I found it so simple to avoid coercing people into sex my entire life. It's just, you just don't fucking do it, and it's so, and it isn't it a process? You don't just fall into that. So anybody who says that I impulsively raped someone, I think that's fucking bullshit. But anyway, so there's a big difference between somebody who fucks their child to death to, like, say the suit and tie. If there's one dude who is, mostly responsible for, like, what's going on in South America right now with,
do you know that most of these people who like to rape and do all sorts of things involving sexual extremists are people who come from the political realms. There were movies made like this in Italy in 1970, and that guy who made the movie got assassinated. Then we have another creation, and with very explicit content made in Serbia. The movie is called A Serbian Movie, and it depicts pornographic material producers who create very extremist stuff, such as you mentioned earlier, and the consumers for such products were depicted in the movie as being representatives of the diplomatic scene of the political spectrum, and I don't know, big leaders from corporations and stuff like that. So I believe that with people who are exposed to great power, they want to feel overpowering in their sexual engagement as well. So when they do sexual intercourse with someone normal, they don't feel nothing. So that is why they search for a younger age, because
I hate to relate to that, but
it makes them more powerful.
Yeah, I don't feel that at all, but I understand I understand generally the idea of fetishism, but anyway, I'm going to go right back into the baby rapist thing because I feel the need to, like, elaborate on that now. So this is, like, out of all the things I've heard in my entire life, this is probably the most heinous, like, single act that one person could do. It was a very Grand Rapids, Michigan, and it was when was it? September 9th, 2012, Wednesday is when this was reported on. A prosecutor said the trial for a man accused of killing his infant daughter during an oral rape took a toll on everyone: families, investigators, attorney, the juror. Yeah, that's like he fucked his fucking kid's mouth to death. That's terrible. That's awful. I think most people would agree that that's, like, an evil person. That's an evil act. But, like, with, like, deforestation in South America and, like, like a chieftain. Have you seen the picture of, like, the crying chieftain who was, like, just pretty much told, like, you and all your people got to get the fuck out so we can destroy your land that you think is its own sentient being and some Earth Mother gay hippie Gaia shit. You got to get the fuck out here because we're about to destroy it and turn it into fucking houses and paper and shit. Like, that is evil in its own way too. But the dude who sanctions that, the suit and tie, who may even be lobbying for that, is not evil in the same way that the baby fucker is evil. It's a lot different. It's a very subjective thing, that evil, the thing, like, that sucks. That the deforestation scenario really fucking sucks. But the guy who's doing that is just being ignorant of the idea that he's doing anything wrong. He's just trying not to think about.
Yeah, the psychopathic mind.
There's money to be made. When there's money to be made, somebody.
It's not just about that, man. The psychopathic mind is not realized when he does evil. It's only person.
Yeah, but that's incentivized by that. That is incentivized monetarily, as where the baby rapist is incentivized by him being a fucked up demon thing. Which is all. I mean, that's the same thing. Like, I use the term demon now sometimes, and I angels and fairies and elemental elves and shit like that. Like, I summon those things into existence sometimes, but I don't observe them as having the same objective realism as, like, the plastic.
Yes, you just use them as analogies, as terms to describe something.
Not always, though. Sometimes I like to, like, I have a friend who is an angel therapist. We've spoken of that. She, does angel readings for people, mostly, like, I would imagine, like, middle-aged women and whatnot. And so
I'm receiving a message from the Archangel Michael, who, angels see the world through an filter of pure love and hope and happiness and tranquility, and then we'll tell you some really happy and uplifting shit.
Therapeutical for people, so that's why they pay for the shit.
Yeah, so but in order for it to really work, you should believe in a way that you should believe in this model of an angel, and sometimes even though I'm not I don't get into mysticism as much. I didn't prior to meeting this person who just explained it to me in a way that makes a lot of sense. Like sometimes I call them the tortoises, the angels, but I'll be like, if I'm driving, I suck at driving, and it's always an eminent possibility that I could crash and die. I'll be like, oh please, magical tortoise Michael, please protect my vehicle and my humanly vessel that needs to survive at least another 15 years because I want to do...
That's it, Zachary. You're projecting outside of your environment, so you're manifesting thought. We all know there's a pattern. We all know about post-traumatic stress disorder. We all know how it manifests. So it's the oldest story what you speak of.
I think you're projecting in yourself rather than actually modifying reality.
Right now, speaking to Zachary.
And that's what we do when we have unlimited energy. I think we explore inner and outer space, and I think we do. Physically we go to outer space, and metaphysically, mentally, some say spiritually. I avoid that word. We explore inner space and what we can do just with consciousness and whatnot. And I think we can. I think there may be a way for us to actually externalize physical things. Like to actually summon matter. To some degree. I'm not summon it, but draw it from the fabric of space. Maybe possible.
To acknowledge. Just acknowledging it. Little steps to acknowledge it. Yeah. It's an old story.
Oh. Let's take another question. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, with the Silk Road thing, though, I wanted to answer that. Okay, so anytime I have never participated in any website that sells psychedelics, that's just to me. It's just because I'm frightened of legal ramifications because I live in a place where these things are still highly illegal, and I've always avoided the system. And just being in the judicial, the fucking, I just don't want to have. I never want to experience
of food and water. Again, the old story. Yeah, companion planting. For a human to companion plant with the planet that we are currently existing on is called companion planting. And there are many crops that have a natural ground cover where there is no need for insecticides, there's no need for pesticides. None of that is required. So, and many crops come to mind that sustain and support a healthy environment or a healthy community. Yeah, definitely. And so hemp being one of them, used in canvas, it was used as money, it was used as paper, it was used for storytelling. Yeah.
It's quantum penis science.
Susan, can you make or Vosta, whoever was controlling the louder, the volume? Could Susan be made louder?
But I can. She has good volume, my friend.
Okay, somebody just asked me. Anywho, externalizing the thoughts. That brings us to this question. Great. Have you seen Life of Pi?
I didn't.
What's that?
The externalization of thought, acknowledging.
Oh,
and,
my God.
Yeah.
Put some ambient stuff over her voice.
Have you seen Life of Pi? Have either of you seen the movie Life of Pi?
Yeah, I have seen a movie Pi, which is very nice. Like P.I.
Yeah, Life of Pi.
Movie.
Life of Pi is the tiger in the boat. It's a movie. It won a fucking Oscar in America. I think it's fucking. It was immaculate. I loved it a lot. But okay, so it's. I'll explain the question to those who don't understand, who don't have a frame of reference of Life of Pi. In the movie Life of Pi, there's. Oh, I don't want to give away the movie though. It's so fucking wonderful. Okay, so this person is asking me at this point in your life, what do you consider to be your Richard Parker, the tiger in the boat? Okay, and most people most people probably haven't seen the flick, so I'm not gonna give it away. But let me try to put that question into terms that don't need you to understand the movie Life of Pi. Richard Parker, the tiger in the boat, is essentially the magical, the mystic, the divine, if you will, the spiritual. Like we were just saying, the angels, the tortoises, Fractal, the magical turtle is definitely like my Richard Parker. Man, you have to understand that's why the movie is so good. I can't really explain the metaphor that well. I'm just gonna spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, if you don't want me to spoil the movie Life of Pi for you.
Okay, Zachary, take it away.
All right. In the movie Life of Pi, and the book, but I haven't read the book. This guy ends up in a lifeboat from a ship that sank with his family and all these people, and his dad had a zoo, and they had to move across the ocean, and they brought all the animals with them, and there's this tiger that he tried to interact with once, and it like lunged at him, and the dad was like, you don't ever fucking try to play with the tiger. It's an animal, it'll eat you. I know it looks cute and beautiful, but if it got the chance, it would eat you. It's an animal, it doesn't understand. And so he ends up in the boat with this tiger, and there's all this, there's an orangutan at some point and a hyena, and it kills the orangutan and all. There's a whole bunch of things happen. Anyway, long story short, there's this huge fantastical journey that he has with this tiger, Richard Parker. And then he, at the end of the movie, he's this whole time, it's like Forrest Gump situation. He's explaining his experience to this writer who wants to write a book about it. And it comes down to it. And he's like, well, somebody said, thanks, Dick. Like, I'm spoiling the movie for you. You can choose to, anyway, so at the end of the movie, it's like, was the tiger real? He asks him, was there really a tiger? Or did you just tell me a bullshit story? Because he reads this statement that he gives, the statement that he gives to the authorities because they don't believe the tiger scenario is that the tiger was a metaphor. Everything was a metaphor for everything. So the orangutan was like the cook of the ship, and the hyena was like the mechanic or something like that. And the mechanic murdered the cook, and all these different things. So that all of these fantastical things that he explains in his story are metaphors for something that is a lot more feasible and a lot more objective reality based. But then they hinted toward at the end that there was a fully grown Bengal tiger in the boat. So he asked him, so which story is real? And he says, what do you want? What do you want to be real? And it's pretty much the same thing as in the movie Big Fish, which has always been, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's a magical film about this guy who tells the stories of his life in these big fantastical ways. He'll just, it has these crazy metaphorical elaborations that make everything so fantastical and magical. And really the stories aren't that interesting. They're still cool, but they don't involve giants and Siamese twins and crazy situations that involve magic. Like there's a witch and stuff. So it's the whole story of Life of Pi and Big Fish is, you have the choice to elaborate your own story on Earth and make it magical. Not just to people who ask you, but as you're going along. And I've always found that I achieve the most happiness when I do that. I'd say life is rather drab and rather boring and rather quite sucks when one doesn't put magic into their existence. And is the magic real? Is Richard Parker real? Yeah.
It is real, goddammit, Zachary and Vosto.
Absolutely, goddammit, Susan.
It is real. It's a docking. You have to undock. You have to take the rope off the dock, set the sail, and take control of the helm. Well, no, you can't. One can never take control of the helm. But definitely to acknowledge that there is a helm and steer the ship. Or the ship will steer you.
Yes, ultimately it's a model as the concept. If you choose to use it, there are different concepts and models. And we can use them, or we can create and be our own concept, for which others will inspire from which my English no good. no good English.
No, your English is. Yeah, you know what? Whenever you say your English is limited, I have to tell. I am being absolutely honest when I say that most of the Americans that have lived their entire life in America are probably working at 40% of your English speaking capacity. Seriously.
Yes, I do not say many words, but I try to be eloquent in my phrases.
You say many fucking words. You just said eloquent, bro. Do you know, like the bro at the bar down the street doesn't say eloquent, and in order to explain him the word eloquent, you'd have to say something like talks in a way that is like classy, like. Oh, you mean like talks in a way that is like classy, like.
Like that, classy. See? So yeah, it's a very old story. You know, and earlier on this evening you were speaking of perpetual projection of projects, one that one could call and identify or label if one requires pedophilia. That's a very old story, and it's a perpetual projection of a thought that is manifested into reality. So, you know, it can be viewed as evil, you know, and what is the perception of evil? Well, I could sit here today and say that yesterday I thought not being able to tune into Darkcity Radio was evil because I was missing out. I was unable to listen to the many people that implement and make Darkcity Radio real, that I was unable to listen in and hear the wonderful stories that people were sharing and how that is, you know, we all have our own path. And I was getting angry and I was getting jealous and I was missing out and I was, God damn it, I was stamping my little feet. But, you know, and I viewed it as evil. Now, you know, I sort of see there's another area of Darkcity Radio that I was unaware of. And, you know, because I was unable to listen, I said, oh, come on, please. Can I just hear a little bit more of Darkcity Radio before, you know. And here I am sitting here with you, Vosto, and you, Zachary, and all the others who participate in this perpetual projection of
ultimately they believe that evil leads to good in the end, and then more evil is created just to help us learn more lessons, and I don't know, some things just appears out of the darkness and shines, if you understand.
Or maybe in order to two, one must fro. You know, I think it's just this cosmic dance, this swinging of the pendulum, and the only reason we, you know, negative means the same as bad, means the same as evil, means the same as, you know, just, you know, the negative, the bad, the less, the lesser than, we see that as the part of life that sucks, is because, you know, like, you know, getting pain is uncomfortable, and we have come to call pleasure pleasant. And see it as, ooh, that's wonderful, and that's a whole other story. Because there's a girl that I want to have on the show soon, and who's into sadomasochism and whatnot, sexually. And man, whenever I talk to one of those people, I end up shouting at them. Not like
well,
I don't.
I don't. On Gladio, Zachary, what you speak of, you're touching on Gladio. Gladio is part of what you speak of, and acknowledging that is how gladiators are raised. Violence works. We all know violence works so well to project that, again, a thought manifestation into the reality. Violence works, hence Gladio. So definitely, you know. And again, if I may touch on what you were speaking of, again, the pedophilia, you know, is there a solution, Zachary? Have you found the solution in what you speak of? And what is that solution?
What
you speak of
for pedophiles, or that
passion?
Compassion.
Your passion. You were passionately speaking of.
Oh, I was just saying. Why
I shouted that. How deep it goes.
I end up shouting at the masochism and the folks, because not in like an angry way or that I disapprove of their and whatever somebody does to get their jollies off, as long as it doesn't involve actually coercing another person, everything is fine with me. I'm completely fine with whatever people do. I don't want to participate in all of it, but that's the thing. Like just masochism and just anything involving pain has never interested me. But I end up shouting at the person because I just like, no, you're wrong. Pleasure is good. Pleasure good. No, pain bad. Pain so bad. Like the example I always use is that like if I'm fucking a person and they like dig their nails into my like love handle area, like there's been times where I've swatted someone's hands away and been like, stop that. Fucking hurts. It's distracting. It's distracting me from the good feeling that I'm feeling. And the friends that I have who are into like fucking painful sex stuff, will say like, you're a fucking pussy, man. But it's like I've just come to know pleasure is pleasure and pain is pain, and that those who can perceive getting like physically hurt as a turn on, I mean. I just can't empathize. I end up shouting because I'm like, I disagree with you profoundly. I disagree. So that kind of shouting. It's a laughing shouting where I'm like, no, that hurts.
It's an ability, an ability, and the control of that ability has no boundaries. Once discovered and acknowledged, the boundary is gone. So, again, dark matter, what is matter, and Sigmund Freud, Aleister Crowley, it was low-level sorcery, as a distraction. Once the boundaries are removed and acknowledged, the solution, all the evil, the word, the labeling, yes.
I've been asked a question, and it's about masturbation, so I'm going to answer it. Zach, when and how did you discover the fine art of masturbation? Spelt poorly, spelt incorrectly. Did someone tell you about it? Did you see it in a movie or porn? That's ridiculous. Did I see it in a porn? Did I discover masturbation in a porn? That's a mindfuck.
I know the story.
That's a puzzle. That's a weird puzzle. Anyway, I would say that there was a movie that told me about, it was something about Mary. That's how fucking young I am. Jesus Christ. I think that might have been when I was introduced to the idea of jerking off, and it was when I was still, I think so. I'm not sure.
Might have been Jesus later. Jerking? You're talking about Jesus jerking. Jesus
jerking?
Is that what you said?
No, I didn't say Jesus. No, I said Jesus. I exclaimed Jesus and said Jesus, and then I said jerking afterwards.
Did you?
I was not trying to refer to our Lord and Savior masturbating.
It's a manifestation of thought, and once acknowledged, it's quite real.
That Jesus jerked off? If he existed, I refuse to believe he didn't jerk off. I refuse to believe the existence.
I am able to manifest an entity, a thought, call it what you will, a manifestation into this reality simply by acknowledging. So if, a memory, all memory is stored, and it is manifested in a reality in your environment that you are able to acknowledge. So Jesus jerking is quite real, brother.
Word. Well, Jesus, the jerking of Jesus, I think, is I refuse. If Jesus did exist in this, this objective reality, then he definitely jerked off because he lived
as a man
more than 12 years. I feel like that is unstoppable. So the question about how did you learn to jerk off and when did you first see it? I think that at some point, any human, at least, I mean, monkeys do. Anything that can touch itself will. I think.
Puny mortals.
I wonder. I just had a fucking a moment of mental pause. I just paused because I thought about an octopus, and I started thinking about an octopus masturbating, but I don't even know how they work generally. But anyway, I think that at some point you'll just get, like, I used to get urinary erections and didn't really know what to do with that, and I thought it was so strange, like, what the fuck, what purpose could this serve? This makes pissing difficult because you get, when you're prepubescent, you'll get a urinary erection where you just have to piss so bad that your dick gets hard as fuck, and then
is this where I close the door and go, yes dear, okay. away, Zachary. I'm listening.
I remember the first time that I actually, this I can recall entirely. I can recall this vividly. It happened in the room that I'm in right now. And I was much younger, and I had a full head of hair and less beard, no beard. I was either 10, 11, or 12. And I remember the first thing that I attempted to jerk off to was a photoshopped picture of Britney Spears' head superimposed on a girl who was like, hands holding her knees completely spread. Anyway, and I remember when I first tried, I was at the point where I was about to expel. I was climbing the climactic Millennium Force and about to go over the fucking ridge, and I got scared, and I was like, this is too much. Because I had seen in a movie before when the dude comes, they always show in movies like he'll grab the blankets. You know how they always depict that in movies, like the grabbing of the blankets and like the making a face that like seems like it's in pain. And I was like, oh my god, I'm not ready for this. So I just fucking stopped, which never happens anymore. I always finish, like with myself at least, and just fucking I don't even know what I did. I think I just tried to carry on my day, and then it hurt, and I was like, I need to. Oh my god, this is what they're talking about when they say blue balls are like kinks in your vas deferens. This needs to stop. And then I tried again, and I just worked up the nerve, and I remember there being so much, and it was entirely clear. And there was an absurd amount of ropes. I call them ropes when you fire in ropes. I don't want to talk about coming anymore. Joe, why are you always trying to take the conversation to coming? I talk about coming enough on stage to talk about coming.
Zachary, may I just like to say thank you, Vostos. Thank you, Zachary. Again, I was unable to listen to Darkcity Radio, and thank you for allowing me to sit in on your show and hear some more good tidbits.
Our total pleasure.
We'll talk about evolution and shit too, but
some other time. Yeah, but thank you.
Somebody asked me. Thank you, Susan. Thank you so much for existing.
Oh.
You're doing a wonderful job of existing. What's happened?
Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, Susan has just left, I believe.
Oh, geez. It's probably somebody probably caught her listening to a conversation that was all about
a man masturbating.
No, it was about a child masturbating, though. I was talking about myself as a child.
Yes, but there was no way for anyone to tell. If
somebody's asked if I've ever passed out while jerking off. That's stupid. No, it's an active thing. It's a thing that you actively...
I'm surprised that you know your first interactions with yourself. I do not remember mine.
I recall just because of the picture, because I have that picture. Like, I could pull up that picture right now. It probably still exists out there. And that's why I always can hold on to that memory, because there's a very clear image attached to it. Yeah, I could pull up that image right now. It's going to bring me back.
What kind of image do you want to share with us?
No, it was the first image that I ever jerked off to.
And
it still exists on the internet because it's very well photoshopped. And I don't even find Britney Spears attractive anymore at all. But back in the Hit Me Baby One More Time days, and when at that age, it seemed like the thing to do.
Yes, specially created by the Illuminati to destroy children's minds and make them masturbate.
Oh, I feel that so much more about like the fucking Kardashians. I don't even like to speak their name, but Kim, the initial one that we knew of, like I've seen that porn, and by all means, very attractive lady. But Jesus Christ, not a single word of substance is ever fine. I don't feel like, and I'm not even saying that I don't understand the masses don't want substance. That's not even some Illuminati shit. I feel like always it's just kind of a general rule that a crowd of drunks, which is what the masses of the world
seem to be.
Yeah, well, that's what they want to descend to. It's what they enjoy. I feel like it's kind of just a general rule that the masses don't really seek substance. Little constituencies within the masses enjoy different types of substance. But if you want to get the whole crowd universally, in comedy we say stick to dick jokes. you know, because that's essentially what it is. But they are, I don't even find them entertaining. I saw an episode of that once, and I was like, fucking, at one point, there's no intrigue. There's just two of them are pretty. I don't even understand. Anyway, I don't even want to fucking waste another second of thought talking about that. Fucking, let's go to another question.
Are there still questions rolling?
Everything's about jerking off. Everything. Have you tried the finger in the ass while jerking off? Everybody's asking. It's just jerking off. It's, you know, and I'm tired. I'm done talking about masturbation for this session. Although I will say that earlier today, when I jerked off, I had one of those ones that, like, it was a jerk that, like, affirmed my confidence, because I felt like my dick was so presentable, and I felt I felt potent. I felt really potent. I felt like if there was an actual human being in front of me splayed, I would have done well, but there was nobody there.
Yes. Very, very sad, but
no, it's sometimes it's not that sad, because
you turn on the Sasha.
I become so unproductive when I'm getting laid on a regular basis. Oh my god, I lose a lot of interest in anything else.
Great porn actresses everywhere.
Yeah. What do you think about having the, you know, we have the social network now. Somebody just put Natalie Imbruglia picture up in the, oh my lord. The first person I ever had a severe attraction to was Natalie Imbruglia in the Torrent video, and it is the longest going thing, because still now in 2013 I see photos of her and I'd still devour her. That's a whole other topic of discussion, though. We'll have an entire show that's just dedicated to my Natalie Imbruglia obsession. But okay, so we have the social network now, where we have the ability to say outlandish shit publicly in like a public post, or, you know, you can private message people, and it's so guiltless if you think about it. Like, I've gotten like really crazy drunken private messages from people where they just, you know, worked up the nerve to say some really out there shit to me when they were drunk, and it's like, even without drunkenness though, it's there's no consequence to that. Worst case scenario, the person never talks to you again. That's not that bad of a worst case scenario. That doesn't even really throw me off. But so now that I have this ability to say whatever the fuck I want individually to anyone, or you know, publicly to everybody,
yes. Like in a Greek auditorium.
Yeah, no, well, now that I have that and the ability to just, you know, whisper things at people, like I'm constantly faced with the realization that I'm not as candid and brave linguistically as I sometimes claim to be, because I would say a lot more. There are things that I don't say. And not because they're necessarily illegal or anything like that. There are things that I don't say just because I still feel that anxiety about people knowing that I think that. You know?
How outrageous could those things really be? I mean, we've already said a lot of stuff in this radio program.
Yeah, but it's not. None of it is. Not. Whenever anybody says like, "Oh, you really bared it all," there on the, you know, like on stage, I say a lot of fucked up shit. And sometimes, like, my mom was in the audience the other day, and I had a whole jerk off conversation about like how I accidentally came on the cat, and you know, like, to me, that's not digging that much. That's not too deep. I'm talking about like the real fucking embarrassing shit to me is my
midget porn.
No, not that at all. I'd admit
with shit and piss.
I don't do that though. That's not true. See, the things that aren't true are never that embarrassing. The things that I don't want to say that I would be slightly embarrassed to say that are true are like, holy shit, I'm an organism. Like, my fucking brain is controlled by the lust thing. And I want to say that to people on an individual basis. Like I feel so less brave because I don't just put it out to people that okay, I'll say girls at this time. As far as I know, I'm heterosexual, and I just, you know, I have the ability to just, you know, completely without any kind of, you know, negative repercussions other than like being told no, or just, you know, them not talking to me. I could just I would just like to say to girls that I know on my social networking.
I'm caveman. I want fuck now.
No, I wouldn't say it that way. I would say it in the most eloquent terms. I would say, look, you're the physical vessel that you operate is, by whatever arbitrary means, is so appealing to me that I just wanted you to know that you reserve the right at any time to enslave me for your sexual gain, or not even for sexual gain. You can make me do shit for you, like even just clean your basement and tell me that the reward is something sexual, and don't even have to follow through. I'm like I said, it's very easy to avoid being a complete bastard and being. Yes. I would leave. I would be like, oh, okay, you lied. Okay, I'll go. And I want these individuals to know that they control me just by being pretty. They control me. I'm that low of an existence that you could just summon me to do shit. You never have to mock.
But you know that female organisms might actually slap you in the face because
but I have a computer. I would do it over the computer. I would make a copy and pasted stock message that would just let people know that, by the way, at any point you could summon me to bicycle to your house in the freezing rain just to devour your vag for 30 minutes, and I don't even get to touch you anywhere else. And I would comply, and I would ride I would be on the bicycle within 3 minutes. I wouldn't. It would take me like 10 minutes because I would probably like.
Yes, the thing is, if you would put that in the realness of our reality right now in the Facebook, for example, on your wall, it will be just taken as a joke. No one will take it seriously. So what are you going to do?
A private message, they totally would. Okay, no, I'll type it up right now and I'll post it right now, and we'll see what people think of it.
Yes, you must find appropriate females.
All right, no, I need to find the appropriate words. I would say Facebook is always there to remind me that as much as I aspire to be an unfiltered and unadulterated, honest, transparent person, in the internet age, I still hesitate to send lewd paragraph private messages to certain individuals as eloquently as I can, informing them that their mere physical appearance automatically endows them with the power to more or less enslave me. At any given moment, I would devour you for hours with no expectations of reward or expecting reciprocation. You're just that pretty.
Yes.
And then copy paste. I'd send that. I think I could send that to like 36 people of the 1,000 that I know. And that's just because of their proximity to my house. I don't want to waste too much gas.
Yes,
if one person bite, but no one would bite. No one would bite. They would be like, some would think I was being funny. Most would think I was being creepy and immediately unfriend me. But maybe one, and that would be fucking enough.
There is one possibility.
Because I'm sick of the
whole role playing games.
Yeah, I hate going out there and having to act sane for long enough for someone to not be scared, because it's worked before. It's worked several times before.
Hey, do you know that movie based off the book? What is it? The Aldous Huxley one, A Brave New World.
Yeah,
in that place, there were just people like, do you want to engage? And that was all.
And that's how I wanted to get closer to that, because that is really how I feel about it these days.
Let us engage.
That's how I feel about it.
Every man should engage. Did you engage today? No. What's wrong with you? Let's engage. Yes.
I've been asked, do your dreams ever tell you anything? I had a fucking dream the other night that was weird as Christ. Okay, I went and did my comedy show, and got $100 in cash for it, and dropped that $100 on the stage of the New York bar in Chesterfield. Just fucking, there was $20 bills on the stage. I didn't mean to. They fell out of my pocket. And we got like 5 miles away from the place, and I just checked my pockets. I was like, dude, I forgot the money. And my Space Dragon friend was like, he says, you're the worst Jew ever. Like, because I I'm terrible with objects, with physical objects. My brain can't retain the idea that like there are some things that are made of matter, and if you lose them, as in they get too far away from your body, you don't have them anymore, and that's important. So I had a dream last night where I was just I went back and ended up retrieving the money, and I felt like an asshole. But I had a dream last night where I was just finding money everywhere, and every time I would find a $20 or $100 bill, like I was just finding money laying around, I would think like, but this might be somebody else's. But wait, it's here. Some other asshole's going to pick it up. If I take it, I'm going to do something, good with it for mankind. So I thought in my dream, and I ended up picking up all the dollars, and at some point just being like, okay, fucking we're picking up all the money now. And then it got to the point where I was just picking up money in front of people who were giving me dirty looks like, dude, that's probably not yours. And I woke up and thought about it for a long time. So I don't know what that dream, like the meaning of that dream was, but I was going through the whole, the usual scenario of, if you find $100 bill, do you A, and I decided I need to pick up all this money and use it for the best case scenario, which is B.
Yes, take some pizzas, beer. Yeah. So, do you want to wrap it up?
Sure.
Today?
I feel like I'm kind of running out of steam here.
All right. Well,
this has been fun though. We're gonna have a lot of fun with this. Is this gonna be a Friday thing? I don't think
we're gonna do a weekly show. I think if you want. Yes. Do you want it to be weekly?
I'd love to do weekly. I'd like to do, as much as possible. But
this will also be recorded and posted to YouTube at the Darkcity Radio channel.
Fantastic. Can we not do that? Because I feel like I said a bunch of ridiculous things.
If you want, we can not post it.
I mean, this one was kind of there. I would, if someone could chop it up. Then
I think
this talking right now. This is just a talk that we should have to each other. Anyway,
I think it was genius. Anyway, thanks for, I don't know, say your last words.
We are going to find out. I am going to find out. We are going to determine what time and day we are going to do this weekly. And as soon as I know that, I'm going to put that information out to anyone who may bear audio witness to this. And I am going to do everything I can next week when I will be healthy and not full of goo. Not full of snot goo. I'm usually full of goo. That was terrible. Oh, my God. I'll do the best I can to be as entertaining and not necessarily informative because I don't have any real information. It's gonna be interesting. This is gonna be a really interesting show, and I'm really excited to do it. And I love you just for existing, magical turtles. And thank you so much for listening to Summoning the Nonsense with Zachary Winchester and
Count Vosto.